How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. First and foremost, my royal family, I want to apologize to the royal family. I've been quite busy. You know, we have a new addition to our family, and that, I often say to the royal family that we must take care of our immediate situation. And I'm going to deliver today, my royal family. I said that there was something that I felt that was quite crucial that the royal family need to know more about Pete Buttigieg. But before all of that, I want to first get all the housekeeping out of the way, all right? And the other issues that I am dealing with, let me read this to the royal family, is your channel as of March 3rd, 2020, your channel is no longer eligible to be monetized. So, this has happened to Lisa Cabrera, Nicole's View, I think also Phil from the Advice Show, and the ongoing war that the royal family have to deal with. Now, y'all know that I am terrible about asking for donations. But if anybody want to donate to the true royal family, I do have a Patreon. I do have a GoFund, and I do have a PayPal. And I will try my best to put those links up and do the best that I can. And I know one thing: if we depended on YouTube to give us some type of income, we would truly starve to death. You have to have a great love for your people to do what we do, because my ultimate goal is I want to get the information out. All right. So I just want to let y'all know continue, and I'm still dealing with other drama. YouTube has not returned my 700 videos. I've been on YouTube for 4 years, and now all of a sudden what I basically this bullshit that they're talking about is that what I the type of news that I present to the royal family, they got some issues with it. So there is no such thing as freedom of speech over here on YouTube. True speech. They have an issue with truth speech. Core ass truth. One more thing. I've been getting numerous emails, and I've been returning them as quick as I can. I've been sending links to the royal family about how to protect yourself with the coronavirus and to build up your immune system. There's some of y'all who won't email me and will put your emails in the comments, and some of them been wrong. I need y'all to email me. Now, there's one person in particular who donated money to my PayPal, Regina, Miss Palmer. The email is not correct. I've tried to send it numerous times, and I want to make sure that I look after you, Queen. So, Miss Palmer, I'm going to make sure that all the links that y'all see at the top today, that email me directly is easier, because even though I do check my comments, sometimes we miss stuff, and it is better when you email me because I get the correct email. But when we manually put it in, sometimes we might forget something. I know I do that too, but that's bothering me that I can't get some of these emails back to our folks that may think I'm overlooking them and ignoring them and all of that. And I thank the people who donated to me just for giving them that information. I was not looking for any donations at all, but I appreciate it greatly, and trust and believe the donations go to good causes too as well. So I hate all this. I'm one of these people that I hate talking about donations and behind the scenes shit that we got to deal with in the world of YouTube. I'm a person, and I think y'all know now how authentic I am. I just want to get into the juicy parts of my royal family. I'm all about the juicy parts. Now, there's some things that I'm going to point out to the royal family that they may or may not know. First thing, Pete Buttigieg is not the mayor. And let me, one more thing. Now they on this bullshit on YouTube that they don't want us to show the articles. We can read the articles to you. We can put the links to the articles and all of that. I was damn near doing that because I'm dyslexic and I have to read off of my laptop opposed to my desktop because all the words is jumping up and down and all of that. And those people that think I can't read or can't comprehend, I keep trying to tell you I am highly dyslexic. It's fine to point out if I make a mistake and all that. And I have other people who sub to this channel that are dyslexic, and some of them are afraid to even put up a channel because of the backlash that I get. So one of these days I'm gonna have to do it again. I'm gonna have to show y'all in my world what I see when words are jumping up and down and all of that, or the sentences is too close and I mess up, but I comprehend very well. I come from royal stock. So I'm a person, it really don't bother me. It really don't. It actually helps me, and I continue to fight. And any of y'all, my kings or queens out here that are dyslexic, if you really want to start a channel, come to me and I'll tell you where you need to start, and we can talk intimately, because we need more people out here making videos. Now, let's get into the juicy parts. So, first and foremost, that as of the first of the year, as race for presidency heats up, Pete Buttigieg steps down as mayor. And see, people been still referring to him as mayor. And there was some heavy stuff going on with Pete Buttigieg. And I ran up on this channel called TYT Investigates. I'm telling you, they bring it. They bring it. And I will put the link here. There are numerous videos in here about Pete Buttigieg. You know, like Buttigieg fooled me. Then they got one in here where the two black men who got Pete Buttigieg in office and how he did them. And y'all just got to go through here. Y'all got to go. I don't know how far down it go. I think I've watched them all. And he ain't even finished. This guy that's been doing this, he ain't even finished. It goes much deeper. Yeah, there it is. The two black men who helped Mayor Pete. I mean, the stuff is fire. Straight fire. And we know that before I play, you know what? I'm just going to play the video, and then I'm going to tell y'all there was some real reasons why Pete Buttigieg, even though he wasn't going to make it as a president, that he was going to have to back down his rhetoric, because I had said when I started getting on his tail, I said, Pete Buttigieg, you going to be judged, and it has nothing to do with you being gay. They need to stop all of that. I resent that. I mean, the enemy ain't the only one that's gay. It's other people out here in this world is gay. We got gay people in our families, and the royal family is not overwhelmed over, oh wow, we worried about gay people. We worried about somebody running a bullet through us on a day-to-day basis. We're under siege. So I'm not one of these people that's not going to let the gay community bully me, knowing that they know it. knowing that we're not a threat to you at all, and those bully tactics that y'all use ain't working over here on the True Royal Family. You don't want to go toe to toe with this. So anyway, I'm gonna play this video, and this video that I'm gonna play, my Royal Family, will get you up to speed on these ongoing issues that Pete Buttigieg, ex-mayor Pete Buttigieg, have to deal with. Some things y'all know, some things you may not. And then I'm going to bring it all the way into the present of some stuff that went down Friday. All right, let's give this a second. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Now the card, it should be able to play because I just played it. Let's see. Let's be patient here. Okay. Arrow. Okay, let's see if we can get this thing going. Oh, like that. Let's see what's going on. Oh, y'all say I don't have no internet access, huh? Ain't y'all a blimp? I ain't editing shit. We just gonna roll with it, and we gonna get some access. See what's really going on, my Royal Family. Oh my goodness. Are we gonna get some access? Let's see. Let's see.
Jonathan Larson over at TYT Investigates has been breaking story after story about Pete Buttigieg and his leadership, or lack thereof, when it came to the South Bend Police Department. Now, a few months after he was elected as South Bend mayor, he attempted to fire the town's first African-American police chief, Daryl Boykins. Now, Daryl Boykins refused to be fired, but was eventually demoted because that's what Buttigieg wanted. And related to that story, there were tapes that featured conversations between police officers who did not like Daryl Boykins and allegedly said racist things about him. Now, Jonathan Larson has been on top of this story. He's been breaking all sorts of updates to it. And he finally got some of these individuals who were on those tapes to speak with him. And I wanted to share some of the details of what he found. And I want to note that this is the first in a series of stories that he will publish in regard to his conversations with these cops and police officials. So he writes that multiple South Bend police officers tell the Young Turks that before Pete Buttigieg became mayor, they spoke with him and his donors about replacing the city's first black police chief. So remember, one of the huge stories that came out of this was that the cops wanted to get rid of Daryl Boykins, and they realized, well, a good way to do that is to work with Pete Buttigieg's donors, and if his donors want him to also fire Daryl Boykins, well, then he's more likely to do it. So in December of 2010, South Bend's mayor announced that he wasn't going to run for re-election, and that was when the police realized, well, once we get a new mayor, it's very likely that he is going to be willing to make some changes when it comes to leadership positions, including the police chief. According to TYT Investigates, for the most part, they confirm, meaning the cops confirm, the document's overall narrative. When it became clear that the city would get a new mayor, they began to speak with lots of people, Buttigieg included, about what that new mayor should do with the South Bend Police Department. At the time, two cops were seen as top contenders for the chief's position. One of them was Commander of Lieutenant Dave Wells's unit, Tim Corbett. So there was some discussion about that. And according to what Dave Wells had to say, Lieutenant Dave Wells had to say, Corbett was gunning for that job. Wells says that because Corbett had done a range of police work over decades, quote, your name is going to be involved. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm reaching out and begging anyone or anything like that, but people put your name in the hat. And then Corbett responded to Wells by saying, honestly, I got contacted by 50 to 100 people over the course of that election. Asked whether those people included the 2 Buttigieg donors, Corbett says, quote, those are questions you'd have to ask them direct, but I would say yes. So essentially confirming that the donors were involved in the decision-making here. The donors in question are Bob Urbanski and Sam Hensley. Hensley last year denied talking with Corbett or Buttigieg about potential South Bend Police Department personnel changes. He also told TYT he had never hosted a fundraiser for Buttigieg, but did not respond after being emailed a copy of an event flyer listing him as a host.
He just lost interest, I guess,
yeah.
in that conversation.
So in other words, he's a known liar, and So there's a lot more, but before I get to it, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, so I'm glad that we're getting more and more details. In terms of like the overall topic, one of the things that I love about this story and wish that it had been a bigger story, you know, like at the latter half of last year, you know, in no small part, like effort from Larson. He did everything he possibly could to do that. The mainstream media didn't care. They weren't thinking critically or certainly covering critically Pete Buttigieg's campaign. Is that when we think about the effect of donors on what politicians end up doing, you know, we suspect that they're going to try to push them in certain directions on legislation and things like that. There's a whole range of different things they can do. It's difficult to think of something more obviously corrupt than you coming into the office and then people pulling you aside and telling you that guy's got to be fired. Like, to any reasonable person, that is obviously unethical, obviously corrupt. And for him to, at the very beginning of his political career, apparently have no problem whatsoever with doing the deepest level of corrupt. Like, just because, I guess he needed the money, I suppose. He wasn't nudged a little bit in a direction. He didn't change like the amount of funding for something a little bit. He did something that should have been obviously unacceptable. Yep. And that's why we care so much about this story. Because if we're worried about politicians being influenced, Buttigieg has shown that he has no ability to resist that influence. And coupled with tons of billionaire support, if at the local level he'll force out a police chief, God only knows what he would do as president.
Exactly. I think that this is demonstrative of who he is, what his character is, and what his leadership style is like. Because a real leader would say, no, right? I'm not going to be corrupted. I want to have a leadership position in this town, and I want to lead. That's what a leader does. But that's not what appears happened here. Let me give you more of what Lieutenant Dave Wells told TYT Investigates. Corbett may have told Buttigieg's donors, this guy, meaning Boykins, is an idiot, he needs to go, but he told everybody that. As far as any kind of, I'm gonna tell them to do A, B, and C, and they're gonna listen to me, Corbett never shared anything like that with me, okay? Now, Jonathan Larson writes, when Corbett ultimately got to face with Buttigieg in December of 2011, he says he told the mayor-elect, quote, I think this department's going down a path that I didn't like. Corbett also didn't have much respect for Boykins's intelligence. Asked about one account in the documents that he mocked Boykins as saying, duh, Corbett says he doesn't recall it. But he adds that he and Buttigieg discussed Boykins' strategic planning in December of 2011, and Corbett said, quote, Boykins can't even spell strategic planning. That came out of my mouth. Okay. So there were a lot of admissions in these conversations, and I really do hope that you all read the full article. It's very revealing. There's a lot in there that we don't have time to get into in great detail, and we'll share a link in the description box below. Jonathan has been doing such a great job with this story, but the documents also quote Wells on June 3rd, 2011, saying, quote, Tim, meaning Tim Corbett, says it is going to be a fun time when all white people are in charge. Corbett, though, told TYT that he didn't say that and said that's BS, that's BS. Didn't censor himself, though, obviously. Wells said he doesn't remember hearing or repeating that. He's got black kids, he said of Corbett. So he's not this racist that the community, a certain segment, make him out to be. Yeah, I know. So asked what he would say if the phrase does turn out to be on the tapes, because remember, they were taped saying some of this stuff, allegedly. Wells said, quote, "I would like to hear the context around it, you know? I'm not excusing it. It's certainly a terrible thing to say, but was it just kind of one of those BSing jokes, joking kind of things or something? I don't know, but I don't remember that at all, and I tell you." And then finally, the documents allege that Wells and Young referred to Boykins as effing worthless. Both told TYT they thought that was possible. Young said he may have said that to Boykins himself later when they began discussing the tapes. Wells said if he did use that phrase, he believed it would have been in reference to something specific rather than an overall indictment of Boykins as chief. There's just so much. There's so much there. Things that they admitted to, you know, things that are certainly problematic if you're a police official. I mean, you're supposed to be policing in an unbiased way, and there are huge problems in South Bend when it comes to racial tensions. If you're saying these things and you're just kind of like brushing them off as jokes, that's not good enough.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, like, obviously the community there in terms of the police was really toxic. There was some horrible behavior going on. And that's probably not that rare in a lot of parts of America. And they desperately need someone who can come in and help them to move past that. And Buttigieg was the exact opposite of that guy. He came in, chose a side based on the money that was given to him, and made the situation even worse than it already was.
Please amplify this story. This is something that we were able to do at TYT Investigates because of our viewers and the donations and funding that we received from you. So thank you for supporting us. And if it weren't for you, this story wouldn't even see the light of day. So please help to amplify it on social media and read the full story by going to the description box and clicking the link below.
Thanks for watching the
All right, my royal family.
Another way to show support.
Okay, so Pete Buttigieg was in office 2 weeks, but before he even got in office, those 2 cops that they were talking about that happened to get caught recorded saying a lot of derogatory things, basically went to Pete Buttigieg, his main donor, and said, get rid of the black police chief. But Pete Buttigieg fired 3 people. And his excuse for firing the black police chief was that he brought on an investigation, which was a total lie, and he was not going around recording people. The white woman who realized that picked up the recording, she just worked in an administrative position at the police department, took it to the chief of police, and they had something juicy and hot. And those various tapes that they're talking about, Pete Buttigieg then sat on those tapes the whole tenure of him being the mayor. So while he was running for president, my royal family, Pete Buttigieg was subpoenaed while he was running for president. And the heat was coming on, all right? So he had to deal with that duality, and he fired the police chief, the fire chief, and this woman. All of them, the taxpayers had, they filed lawsuits, and naturally they had to fork over some money. And like I said, you go over here and you have to just fish through this stuff. This stuff is deep. I mean, real deep about him. It's in so many layers, and the saga continues. Okay, so I wanted to get y'all up to speed on that. He is not the mayor anymore because there were things that he was going to have to deal with. And now, since he was subpoenaed and he had to turn over the tapes, I'm keeping a watch and seeing how this thing is going to go, because Pete Buttigieg feel like he done made an impact going out there running for president, and now he wants to go for something higher. Now, I had showed to y'all that Pete Buttigieg / husband wife had no problem lying on his family, saying that his family treated him horribly, and I was able to produce pictures of Pete Buttigieg wedding where his husband / whatever family was a part of the wedding. So they showing to the royal family they don't have no problems lying. Then Pete Buttigieg thought he had an edge on everyone when he said he was in the military, and the only thing he did in the military was, they said it was some kind of organization they got put together where, I guess, for wealthy white males or wealthy people in general, but let's say white males, all you got to do is fork over a couple of little dollars, get a checkup, and then sign it, and then you in the military. You don't have to do no many military training or anything. You don't have to do basic training. And again, that's how Biden's son got in. And then you got pictures of Buttigieg. He's showing that he got assault rifles and all that. All he was a taxi driver, driving personnel back and forth. And then they want to say that he was getting into intelligence and all of that. It is a total lie. And people are going to dig and look you up. This dude is a straight fraud. And he wants to be a part of the political process. And when you are a part of the political process, again, you're going to be judged. But because, this is the part that I will say, because he is a gay man, he knew that the media would be, let's say main media or mass media gave him, like Mr. Superboy says often, a wide berth, and they wouldn't touch that. That is not fair. That is not fair, because if the gay community wants to be accepted in the overall community, then we all get the equal same thing, right? That's what it's supposed to be. So when you throw your hat in the arena, people just gonna start digging in your ass to see what you about. Do it stink, or you smell like a bed of roses? And so far, Pete Buttigieg look real bad. Now let's get more so in the present. Now remember why he was running. He had to step off because a black man was shot in the city that he was the mayor at. And at that particular time, he was still mayor. So this is what happened Friday.
Officer involved shooting. Mayor James Mueller is talking right now. Let's listen in.
Over what the findings presented this morning mean exactly. It's beyond frustrating that there's no video for the most important moments in this case. Without new evidence, we may never know the full truth about Eric Logan's death. This will understandably continue to cause anger and pain in our community and does not help build the trust that we need. But we must have trust in our public systems, including law enforcement. There is simply no other way forward. To help foster that trust, I am committed to laying a foundation built on honest conversations, transparent and inclusive policy making, and a system of accountability that is fair and just. This will require a lot of hard work, and it won't happen overnight. But I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and work with the community to make this happen. I am disturbed by the charges against former Officer O'Neill while on duty. I know Chief Ruskowski will continue to hold our officers to a high standard, and I thank the South Bend police officers who reported this alleged misconduct. Without these officers and the department's internal investigation, the special prosecutor would never have known about these allegations. I will look to see how I can encourage and protect whistleblowers to ensure that they are empowered to bring forward information about misconduct and help hold bad actors accountable. In a moment, Chief Ruskowski will share more on the department's separate, ongoing internal investigation into whether all the officers involved in this case followed our policies and procedures properly. With today's findings, the internal investigation can now proceed to a conclusion. But first, let me outline some near-term next steps. The city will be hosting a community conversation later today at 3 o'clock in council chambers, and we'll have another one next week on Thursday at a location to be determined. In the coming weeks, 21 CP will release their report and recommendations from the review of the South Bend Police Department. We will also release a revised discipline matrix for further public input. After that, we will revisit the topics from the previous administration's CAGS meetings from last year to make sure that we're on the same page.
All right, we got a little glitch here. My royal family. Let's see what's going on. Let me bring this back a little taste and see what we can get here.
After that, we will revisit the topics from the previous administration's CAGS meetings from last year to make sure that we're on the same page as the community as we look to move forward on those items. At the end of the day, it's important to remember that a member of our community lost his life. I offer my sincere condolences to the Logan family. I am hopeful that we'll be united as a community and city administration as we look to make progress on these important issues. Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to first start by saying the night of the shooting, we were in the same office. And I said then, as I'm going to tell you now, one of our family members lost their life to another family member. And I will always stand by, regardless of the circumstances, those feelings and those sentiments. I'm still trying to digest what I just heard from the special prosecutor and his subsequent investigators, which, by the way, Indiana State Police did a phenomenal job working with us in the internal part of the investigation and whatever else they did in the criminal component of the investigation. So it wasn't an easy process, and it wasn't a seamless process, but it was a working process. Again, I'm still trying to digest this because I've told all of you in the very beginning that I'm going to be receiving the information the same time you are, and that's exactly what happened. I know people think that that's not true. It is absolutely true. I haven't received any hard findings that the special prosecutor had put out. Once we receive them, we will still continue with our internal investigation. O'Neill is no longer with our police department. That doesn't mean our investigation stops. Anything that could or would be punitive with O'Neill, I can't do. I can't legally, and I have nothing that I'll be able to deal with from that perspective. But that doesn't mean, again, that it stops. We have been running a parallel investigation, meaning internal, along with the criminal that they have been doing, and you just heard about. But we had a point in time where we had to stop because we only had so much. We did not have and still do not have all of the information they obtained when it's regarding our policies, procedures, training, tactics, any of those things. Like the mayor said, and I really want to reiterate this, one of our officers came forward, did the right thing, and told us something wasn't right. And we, our police department, who I'm extremely proud of, took this.
Oh, here we go again. And it's almost over with. Let's go back a little bit. Forgive me, family.
And we, our police department, who I'm extremely proud of, took this.
Oh, shit. Man, let's go back a little bit more. But before we, let me go back here a little bit more. Let me say something in turn with that.
Just heard about?
So just to bring the royal family up to speed, again, while Pete Buttigieg was still the mayor, this pig that you see in here shot a black man. Now, I got 2 videos to show y'all because it's some other stuff that I need y'all to know. But basically, he knew what the verdict was going to be. And he wanted to get away from this as much as possible because as far as he's concerned, you know, don't be surprised if Pete Buttigieg run for mayor or something like that. but this is going to be hanging over him. So let's see if we can get this video right, because it's almost done.
But we had a point in time where we had to stop because we only had so much. We did not have and still do not have all of the information they obtained when it's regarding our policies, procedures, training, tactics, any of those things. Like the mayor said, and I really want to reiterate this, one of our officers came forward, did the right thing, and told us something wasn't right. And we, our police department, who I'm extremely proud of, took this, investigated it, and handed it over to the special prosecutor. During this, Ryan O'Neal resigned from our police department. I won't comment further on this because I have nothing to comment further on, because we will still continue with an investigation internally, and when those findings are made known, I will do according to law and present, if there is any discipline, to the board. Again, it will not be Ryan O'Neal because he's no longer with our police department. I do want to reiterate a couple things that I know that were confusing, because I'm still confused by some of the things that were said. And you would think I would be like in the know, and that is absolutely not true. Again, as I promised you before, but the alleged incident in what O'Neal was accused of happened in May, and the shooting happened in June. It was not right before or whatever. This had happened allegedly a month, maybe even a little bit before that. So that I do know. The internal affairs part, and that is concluded on his portion, but we don't know how much that goes back. Anyway, I'll be available for questions afterwards if you need clarification. Meaning, was there more to it at this point in time during that part of the investigation, subsequent or prior to his resigning? There was nothing else that we had found. Again, I'm still waiting on information, facts, evidence, statements from the special prosecutor and the ISP investigators, and once we have that, we'll be able to compare with what we had during our parallel investigation. The other thing that was very confusing, and I want to be perfectly clear, if I wasn't at Washington High School at the last town hall we had, absolutely 100% in favor of load and go. I've spoken to the trauma surgeon, specifically Doc Thomas, 100% behind that. Legal, moral, ethically the right thing to do. And the officers who did the load and go were spot on by doing that. If you notice the time frame, you could look over them again and see how the time transpired there. But absolutely in full support of that. We've done them before, we've done them since, and we'll continue to do them. With that, I think President Scott, I believe, is next. And again, I'll stick around.
All righty, my royal family. So basically, in South Bend, what they did was they had a special prosecutor to investigate this shooting of this brother. And let me get this set up while I'm talking to y'all. Let me freeze that. And basically, the same old BS that the royal family continues to deal with. And so, based on the special prosecutor's findings, the brother, basically, they saying that, the word that they use, they fear for their life. They fear for their life. And this police officer that killed this brother, he's been a problem cop. And, Pete Buttigieg has people behind the scenes that advise him, and he just wanted to get away from this. And there is a strong possibility, and I'm jumping a little bit, that the first thing that I showed y'all was when he was mayor, and then he got rid of people and all that, and then just recently he was subpoenaed, that Pete Buttigieg is going to end up in court dealing with that other situation where he had a few black folks fired. It wasn't just one black person. But this right here, he'll think he'll wipe his hands of it, but it will forever be attached to him. But again and again, remember, he is not mayor, and they keep referring to him as mayor. That's why it's so important to have these YouTube channels, because, like I said, somebody said a long time ago, well, what's the big deal of y'all doing these videos? See, we'll find stories in some of the oddest places, and they'll put it out, and then we'll start digging and find more, and it's not on mainstream. And then we give it life, and it's something pertaining to the royal family. That's why it's necessary for us to render our voices out here, my royal family. So let's hear how the community is speaking and get a little more into this. The same old humdrum, but it's very necessary.
Family's been patiently waiting for the investigation to wrap up, but they have also filed a civil lawsuit against Sergeant O'Neill, the SBPD, and the city. ABC 57's Tana Kelly is live outside the Central High apartments of West Colfax, where a vigil in Eric Logan's honor is being held this evening. Tana?
Yeah, Brian, there was a lot of tension at the meeting today between community members and officials, some even being escorted out of the press conference. Many there upset that their questions were not answered and that that Logan was villainized.
You were hired to do absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
Why would you pick him up and move? He had a better chance of living at the ambulance was right around the corner.
Emotions were high as community members heard Special Prosecutor Rick Hurdle's findings on the fatal officer-involved shooting of car break-in suspect Eric Logan last June. Hurdle found that the officer involved, Sergeant Ryan O'Neill, took the right actions in using deadly force against Eric Logan after Logan walked towards him with a knife. Family members in the room outraged at the decision.
He need to be charged with murder.
Ebony Logan, Eric Logan's niece, tells me investigators painted her uncle as a villain.
My uncle was very innocent, lovable guy, keep you laughing, spirit was motivating, all that. So all this stuff that they want to say about my uncle is false information.
But like many in attendance, she's not surprised to hear there will be no prosecution.
No. Because at the end of the day, it ain't going to be no justice for my uncle. Because they don't care. They care about Officer O'Neill. They don't care about us or what we got to say or my granny's feelings or none of that. At this point, y'all don't give a about us. This community is just all up.
What we saw today was kind of expected. I think there was a big burden, a big hill that we knew that the prosecutor would have to climb to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that there was a crime committed here.
Leaving many in the crowd wanting answers.
I think it's horrible. It's a smokescreen, even the outside prosecutor. It's a smokescreen. He couldn't even answer a simple question. Did Eric throw the knife? Did he drop the knife?
There are some serious discrepancies that are still present as to how this happened. The biggest one I see is the no DNA, no fingerprints on the knife, nothing on any of the vehicles, and all.
Now catch that. This pig kills this brother. Said he comes at him with a knife, and there is no DNA, no fingerprints, no nothing on the knife, or also they claim that he was trying to break in cars. He don't got no gloves on or anything, and none of his DNA. As we continue on.
Also, we don't know where actually the shooting took place.
And they need to reopen up this case and they need to look back on all these evidence and quit trying to talk about 30-second pauses on his body cam. Y'all need to reopen up all that and show us evidence.
In regards to reopening the investigation, Hurdle says that if there is any additional evidence, he will review it. Now, coming up in the next half hour, there will be a vigil right here at Central High Apartments where the incident on June 16th happened and where Eric Logan's memorial currently is. Family, community members will all be here. We'll have a live look here at ABC 57 News at 6.
And what's so messy about the case, my royal family, is that the pig that shot this brother, he didn't even have on his body cam. He purposely left it off. So this is nothing new. But I'm going back to Pete Buttigieg and stuff. He think he can fake and fraud his way through this, and this is necessary for us to put out. And anything else that TYT Investigates put out. I'm going to be following them very closely, because this is not the end of the first part of this story that I told you. So, Pete Buttigieg got a lot of baggage, a lot of lies, and he's a typical politician. That's what they do and stuff. He took advantage of being a white male living in a dying white supremacy system. That's it, and that's all. And he also took advantage of being a gay man, thinking people would be afraid to criticize, ridicule, and judge him at the end of the day. It is what it is, my royal family. Ain't that juicy, my royal family? Ooh, I love bringing the juice. So, my royal family, again, I will make sure I put the necessary links. Anybody that want to be a part of my Patreon, because I said I was going to start putting stuff on my Patreon. And if I put something on my Patreon, because I like to do stuff different, I ain't putting it on YouTube. It's just going to be exclusive Patreon and everything. $1, $5, $10. True Royal will take it, but in turn, there is people that I will remain anonymous, that cannot purchase those things that I have been sending y'all the links to, so they can be protected from the coronavirus. I still put money in Jazzy Rose fund. I still keep after me and her still converse, and that's what comes out of that, and the money that I receive is greatly appreciated, and I guess for my hard work too as well. But if I don't get a penny, I'm still going to bring it. All right. So I got to deal with what I got to deal with on YouTube. They didn't demonetize me after being on here 4 years and basically saying I'm just doing some atrocious shit. I'm not going to change how I speak. I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to remain authentic, and I got some more stuff I'm bringing today. I'm going to bring something today. What? I don't know, because I do videos based on pure emotions. I just sit like here with the royal family and see the oohs and ahs that's going on in the world. And right now we dealing with coronavirus right up here in the Bay Area, and very, very deep, my royal family, what we are going through. So anyway, my royal family, I wanted to keep my end of the bargain. Forgive me for being so late, but I have to help my daughter and my royal granddaughter. So anyway, my royal family, render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.